bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of Mahasadashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham. Om
sukadam kevalam jnanamurtim dvandvatitam gaganasarusham tattvamasyaadilaksham ekam nityam vimalamachalam sarvadi sakshibhutam bhavatitam trigunarahitam sadgurum tam namami. Nithyanandam, everyone, we welcome all of you to today's exciting episode on Nithyananda TV. I am Srinitya Paramashivoham Maharaj, and we have with us our co-host Srinitya Rajananda Maharaj. Nithyananda Maharaj. Yes. So from yesterday itself, we will be taking and continuing with the series that we are doing on the changing world order, the exciting discussion that is happening even the worldwide. Actually, all people are talking about it, discussing about it. Debates and discussions are happening on across all media platforms. Uh, on the international forum itself, these things are talked about now. How the world order is changing, what it means to us as an individual, what it means to us as collectives, society groups, as nation itself, on all levels, on all aspects, what it really entails. And we discussed about the how this current scenario is changing for the last 10 to 15 years. And today, what the aspect that we are going to discuss about is how the civilizational regrouping that is happening because of this changing world order, the changing paradigm, how we can utilize this, how we can actively be a part of it and make use of it to develop a leadership consciousness and manifest high performance, not only on our individual on an individual level, but also as a group, as as Hindus, as a collective also. So all of these aspects we will be talking about. So just to start with, we can give a short recap what we talked about yesterday about the changing world order, about what is really happening. So what we talked about is that for the last 200 or so years, when the colonization started, when the so-called Western-led world order started to take shape in its primary years, that's when the whole colonization, started, and all the countries which are today a part of the third world and the second world, they were colonized, and that's how the whole model, a new kind of economic model, was starting to take shape. But it did not last long. It lasted for at most 200 years. Then it led to another model of the mercantile capitalism, which hardly lasted 100 years, which in turn led to another movement, which was as a response to that mercantile capitalism, what all the exploitation people had faced in the factories, working long hours as laborers and everything, all kinds of exploitation. That led to a movement of Marxism, really. Marxism led communism, and that communism ideology led many countries to adapt that ideology on a national level itself, and so many empires started to get created on the basis of that ideology. So that ideology, Marxism itself, developed its own economic order, its own economic model, its own definition of civilization, what is right, what is wrong, and but eventually even that lasted not for more than 50 years, which now has led to, in the last 10 to 20 to 25 years, the new kind of a economic model called globalization, right? So globalization itself, a new kind of a neoliberal economic model where the Western ideas, the Western models of economics, of democracy, of culture, of society, everything are being made in a way to be for all the other countries also made to adapt and adopt those ideologies as a part of the so-called globalized world economy. But but the thing is that even that is not really a permanent solution, because we are seeing currently the collapse of even that globalization model as well. Now what is happening is that with the rise of the new economies who are challenging the status quo, economies in countries such as China, the kind of a clout that they are having now based on their economy getting strengthened and their society also evolving to a state where they can literally pose challenge to the existing world order. Now, what is happening is the whole entire on the international forum, the geopolitical situation is such that the all the statesmen, all the leaders on an international level of the most powerful nations are making these declarations, making these comments that the whole world order is about to get restructured permanently. We are on the verge of a complete restructuring of the world order, the present world order, which has been there for the last 20 to 25 years. And these are not small statements, because this is what is actually happening on day-to-day level. The kinds of conflicts we are seeing, the kinds of economic challenges we are seeing people are facing, the things that are happening, they're literally making us question that where are we headed, what is really going on, and what is the eventually the outcome of all this. So this is the context. I was just giving the recap of what we were discussing yesterday, and just taking this forward. As the new paradigm emerges, now what is happening is that countries are moving forward from the globalization model, going back to their identities, going back to their ancestry, their lineage, their own identity from their roots, how they were. Even countries like China, who had discarded their past earlier, are now talking about their 5,000-year-old past as a civilization, continuous civilization, going forward and guiding the future. You can take it forward,
Yes, actually, that is, we are moving, as you said, from a globalization model that works on giving everybody the free market and working on immediate goals and working in a short-term span. But it is moving towards a civilizational-based system of organization.
Yes.
This is happening because, and in this way, many of the countries are looking at their own civilizational histories, and they are regrouping each other based off their civilizational histories. And this is an idea that there is a shift in the current geopolitical and social economic order towards this civilizational based system of organization. And this involves like a reorientation of countries and cultures around shared cultural, historical, and religious roots, rather than an emphasis on short-term or just recent national identities. The idea behind this whole civilizational regrouping is to create a cooperative and harmonious global community based on shared values and interests, especially that of a shared history. It is going to be very interesting to see, Maharaj, how when we go back and build our history as Hindus, how we can really see how much of the whole world was involved in building the history. We can see that, and we will be there. Every culture, every indigenous religion out there has a deep history that is ancient, that connects itself to each other, to each other.
Yes.
We will be able to see how this whole civilizational regrouping, we connect with each other even in our histories.
Yes, exactly, Maharaj, because we are seeing such, it is actually a very huge shift, because recently what we have seen as the kind of the globalization and everything that is happening, it was happening at the cost of the other identities, other cultures. The cultures, there was a dilution and dissolution of your own tradition, of your own culture, of your own way of life happening in the name of this whole so-called globalized economy, right? There were some perks, there were some benefits, but it was a huge trade-off. People were literally trading off their own identity. And now we are seeing a situation that they're realizing, people are realizing it was a big bargain. It is not really something worth doing, because what you are giving up is much more valuable than what you're getting. And what you're getting is just a short-term gain. Some short-term economic value you may get by those, whatever you're entering into, deals you're entering into. But what you're giving up, for example, even when we see in terms of food habits, like all cultures have their unique food habits, right? But in the name of globalization, what has happened? It's only the MNCs who are coming, and only the one type of food, preparation of food, these kinds of meals. And in fact, I would say even the West, the whole kitchen has been outsourced to McDonald's now. Right?
Yes.
People are not even cooking.
Yes.
McDonald's or this restaurant, that restaurant. There's and then on top of that, these companies are getting more and more monopolized. So ultimately, the whole thing is getting controlled by very few people.
Yes.
What happened to that unique cultures, unique way of growing your own food in your own vicinity? The land which you walk on has to grow the food that you eat. Then you have to cook it, right?
and all of that getting dissolved and completely destroyed by this whole economic model.
Actually, to give a good analogy to this, it's like how we have in a family. We have older siblings and younger siblings. And the older siblings, in this case, you can say, are the older civilizations that have an ancient history. And then the younger siblings are maybe the civilizations that have been, they're new, they're fresh, they're excited, and they're able to be playful and really contribute to the whole energy of the family. So, but the older siblings have to learn patience and before the younger siblings, and they can navigate their life, and they can help teach the younger siblings how to learn from their mistakes, because the older siblings would have repeated these mistakes over and over again.
It is their responsibility.
Yes, they know. And however, ultimately, the older civilizations, they carry literally a greater responsibility. That is actually what we understand. Even in Hinduism, we see how we take our ancientness as a sense of responsibility, as Hinduism does. It has always been the case. Even when the Swami Vivekananda went to the West and spoke about Hinduism, he spoke it as the mother of religions. And he said that it is literally the one where it accommodates, it gives refuge. And that's the way that any older sibling, no matter how much the younger sibling may throw a tantrum or may go out of the way, it is the responsibility of the elder siblings in the family to hold the whole family together, to hold the younger ones intact, to make sure they don't make the mistakes that they did. And there's a nice delicate balance between allowing growth to happen. You give the younger siblings room to be successful, to make a difference in the world, to do, but it is also, it makes a higher sense, it gives a higher sense of responsibility to the older siblings to maintain a sense of unity and continuity of what it should be done correctly in the world.
Exactly. And in this context, we can say that the older siblings here in your analogy would be all the indigenous cultures, indigenous civilizations who have been here for a long time. They have experienced, they have been always living with the nature, so that intelligence there, it's a part of their lifestyle itself. And even among those, Hindu civilization would be called, you can call it as the epicenter of the entire indigenous traditions and cultures which have been existing on this planet. So they have a role to play, they have a responsibility to guide the entire world today in this whole journey that is happening.
And it is time to see what we have been doing. It is not like the older civilizations are inactive. Hinduism has done a great contribution in keeping the peace around the world so that nobody gets hurt, no mass destruction happens, no global destructions happen. This has been the responsibility of Hinduism from the time of Bhagavan Sri Krishna till the recent incarnations and the recent decisions of any of the incarnations of today.
And it works as well, because we see until the invasion started happening in the Hindu society, there were no mass killings.
Correct.
Recorded history says, document, we shared about the evidence yesterday, right?
Yes.
So it says that it actually speaks volumes for actually, it really works. The wisdom, the knowledge, it is time tested and it works. What incarnations, what a work they have done, like Bhagavan Sri Krishna, what he established after the Mahabharata war. It was actually a peaceful civilization, a completely non-violent civilization.
And that is because we keep the peace, and we are also both in the ways of keeping the peace in a tone that is where we exist for. Yes. And at a time when the world is at crisis, we have to say, oh no, we must stand up for dharma, and that is where we can play a role in Hindus can play a role in moving forward. Is because civilizational regrouping is a powerful concept in which the diverse individuals come together. We have people from different countries, different religions. Even within Hinduism, so many different sampradayas are there. The Supreme Pontiff has told there are 10,000 indigenous religions inside Hinduism itself. And
powers of MahaParamashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda.
We apologize for the technical glitch. So as we were discussing, Maharaj, the leadership consciousness, what its value is, the core principles of Hinduism, which we Hindus individually and collectively, it is time for us to cognize them and start manifesting. And who better to help us manifest those than the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam himself.
He has shown by being the one, being the example, again, he has shown us by being integrated to the purpose of life, can bring the right people and situations to make it. As I said, he declared that he is going to take responsibility for all of Hinduism and all Hindus as people, as individuals in the world. And the best way to take it, responsibility is to take it up as a person who will do it today, as a person who is going to create a nation for Hindus, create a place and a rightful legitimacy for Hindus, politically, socially, economically, in all ways. This is the way he has declared. And he has declared his intention to revive the Hindu civilizational nation, KAILASA, on the planet. And when he has done this, since then, marginalized, disenfranchised, and persecuted Hindus worldwide have come together and supported KAILASA, and which is also their purpose as well. They found the common ground. And he's literally being the leader and saying, this is where we can come together. It is the Hindus that have experienced this kind of persecution, experienced this kind of same kind of marginalization that he has been able to show as an example, as a future for them. And then, of course, to the whole Hindu diaspora, he is really showing an example of how much they can do, and especially those who have made it well. And all Hindus have found themselves literally at the top of the world right now, literally have the opportunity to embrace his mission in KAILASA and really come together, especially in the MahaParamashivoham program, which is the global summit to create future Hindu leaders.
Yes. So we would like to take another opportunity for anyone who is willing to come and attend the MahaParamashivoham program, which is being personally attended by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. He personally is guiding, initiating all the participants into the ultimate Paramadvaita experience, the experience of enlightenment he's giving, and all the gifts the Hinduism has to offer, Sanatana Hindu Dharma has to offer, which he is reviving on the planet Earth through the creation of KAILASA, the Hindu nation. And all these benefits, all the things which he is here to share with you, can be yours if you just sign up for the MahaParamashivoham program. For that, please scan the QR code which is projected at the bottom of your screen, the MahaParamashivoham QR code. Once you scan and fill the intention form, our team will reach out to you immediately after that and take you on board. So, and also we would also like to invite all the viewers, all the people who are watching this show, to, if you feel connected with the whole vision and the narrative and the importance of Kailasa nation and this great rebuilding and the revival of Sanatana Hindu Dharma on the planet Earth, which is being done by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, you can be a part of this revival process. You can get involved personally, being a part of all the services that Kailasa is offering, and also be not just the benefactors, but also the contributors in this revival. So for that, we invite you to become an e-citizen of Kailasa. The e-citizenship QR code is also being projected on the bottom of your screen. You can scan that and fill the form and become an e-citizen of Kailasa to enjoy not just the benefits, but also become an active contributor, be a part of this great revival that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing on planet Earth. Yes, Maharaj, anything else you want to share?
Actually, just a little bit about the MahaParamashivoham program itself. We did touch upon the teaming process, and we just wanted to share a little bit about what actually happens in this process. Participants form a group and sit together and decide to live in the space of completion with each member of the group. And then each member declares the authentic identity they want to create for themselves in their lives. Then every other member, takes the responsibility for this declaration. So if you have a declaration that you want to be in the space of completion, then I will declare my way that how I will support you in your declaration and help you to become whatever it is that you want. You may want to become successful in a business, or you want to become a leader in a particular group, whatever it may be. That way, each individual takes a collective responsibility personally for that individual's goal or that individual's reality that they want to create, manifest for themselves. And then we become co-creators of the realities. That is the word that we use. We become co-creators, and this is how we hold each other in a collective responsibility. And then the entire group supports individual people's goals and declares how they will support each one. And the group, this is called what is called a sangha, a satya sangha, a sangha that works towards moving people forward towards causing their reality, towards. Actually, the beautiful thing is it is not even just that. All of us, when we come here and become part of Kailasa, the Guru, Swamiji, becomes part of our lives. And everything is about working towards getting closer to him, getting closer to understanding him, getting closer to being able to take on more responsibility for Kailasa, for the whole ecosystem. And that is a common goal we always have. And then when we each work, know that this is a common goal, this is where we stand as a common point, Swamiji, that he is the commonness among all of us. That is the way the relationships become extremely beautiful, because he holds all of us. We all know this, that he holds us only to the highest cognition, that we are Paramashiva. And when he holds us to that, and when and he teaches us through the teachings that we have to treat others also as Paramashiva, and we should also feel that we are treated as Paramashiva. This is the basic law here in Kailasa, and this teaming process supports that. And the central spindle of this whole Sangha, this whole Satya Sankalpa that is made, is that the whole center of it is that Swamiji is at the center. His example, his way of bringing out the tradition is what we want to do. And that common understanding is there. And from that, we take responsibility for whichever way, whichever aspect that each of us want to express that Paramashiva.
In fact, not to mention it, all of this is happening in that powerful energy field of his presence, right? Which starts with the process of initiation. Once the Diksha is done, once you're initiated, that connection is established, simply the whole energy, because ultimately it's Paramashiva himself has landed, right? It's his incarnation itself as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. His energy field, all of these processes, simply all the completion starts happening. You start manifesting the leadership consciousness, which we are talking about today, and all the other aspects that we have been discussing, just with the power of initiation and that powerful energy field that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is creating. And simply with that feeling connection, towards him as Guru.
Yes.
Everything just he takes care of.
It was not that it is something that he's coming up with it on its own. It was because it was given to him in Tiruvannamalai, in his original enlightenment ecosystem. He had this very ambience where everyone, including his family, including his parents, and all the gurus in his life, Annamalai Swamigal, Isaiki Swamigal, Mataji Vivekananda Puri, Raghupati Yogi, all of them were great avadutas, and they surrounded him, literally pouring all of their knowledge into him and keeping him as a great. This is how actually in the same, like we were talking in the civilizational context, in the global context, but even in the Sangha, those who have had more experience and taking on more responsibility, those are the elder siblings. They take on the responsibility for the younger ones, for the new ones, to be able to have the room for them to explore and experiment, but also hold them to that they are contributing to the collective responsibility also.
Exactly.
So in that same way that we can see as a way that Hindus can take responsibility at a global level, it is done at a personal level, and it is done inside with the guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism inside the MBS program, where you sit with your tingli and you do this beautiful process, and it brings beautiful discussions on how we can really bring all the teachings, all the things that we are learning in the MahaParamashivoham program, all the powers that we are able to tap into and manifest in the MahaParamashivoham program, and make them all into a practical, livable, day-to-day, user-friendly way.
Yes, exactly. So beautifully shared, Maharaj. So before we end today's segment, just a last reminder for all those who are interested, who are willing to join the MahaParamashivoham program, which is starting on the next season, which is starting on May 15th. The QR code for MahaParamashivoham program is being projected at the bottom of your screen. Please scan it and sign the intention form, and we will reach out to you. So with this, we are concluding today's segment on Nithyananda TV. We will now move on to the most awaited, most beautiful segment, that is the Nithyananda Satsang, the daily Nitya Satsang from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. Just having his darshan and listening to his words are nothing less than an initiation itself. It has the power to give you the ultimate enlightenment experience and take away all your problems. Everything will be taken care of. So let's prepare ourselves to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Let's sit straight with your head, neck, and spine in a straight line. The body completely relaxed. With a deep space of restful awareness and devotion in your Ananda Gandha, which is the space between your navel center and your heart center. Visualize the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, as Paramashiva himself, with 25 heads, 50 hands, and 75 eyes. Chant the Mahavakya, Om Nithyananda Paramashivam, reverberating in your Ananda Gandha. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
I bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of MahaParamashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
The nature of consciousness. The source of awareness. The relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are. Why our reality is the way it is. Why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today what I revealed is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.
The nature of consciousness. The source of awareness. The relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are. Why our reality is the way it is. Why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today what I revealed is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly. Most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.
The nature of consciousness. The source of awareness. The relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are, why our reality is the way it is, why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today what I reveal is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly. Most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.
The nature of consciousness. The source of awareness. The relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are, why our reality is the way it is, why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today what I reveal is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly. Most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.
The nature of consciousness. the source of awareness, the relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are, why our reality is the way it is, why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today, what I reveal is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.
The nature of consciousness, the source of awareness, the relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are, why our reality is the way it is, why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today, what I reveal is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.
The nature of consciousness, the source of awareness, the relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are, why our reality is the way it is, why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today, what I revealed is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.
The nature of consciousness, the source of awareness, the relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are, why our reality is the way it is, why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Nityanandeshwara-samarambam Nityanandeshwari-madhyamam Nityanandeshwara-samarambam Nityanandeshwari-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. इस समय हमारे साथ उपस्थित सभी दर्शकों और भक्तों का मैं प्रेम एवं आशीर्वाद सहित स्वागत करता हूँ। आज हम जीवन का तीसरा तत्व उत्तरदायित्व लेना कैसे आपके मन चाहे वास्तविकता का निर्माण कर सकता है उसके बारे में बात करेंगे। Today we will expand on the third principle, responsibility, and the unique relationship responsibility carries, the unique equation it carries to construct the reality of your choice. Let me define responsibility once more. Please listen. I am defining responsibility. Living and responding means thinking, feeling, acting, cognizing to life from the truth that you are the source of everything. Therefore, you are responsible for all happenings inside you and around you. ध्यान से सुनिए, प्लीज लिसन। उत्तरदायित्व की परिभाषा पुनः उत्तरदायित्व का अर्थ है जीवन को इस सत्य के साथ जीना और प्रतिक्रिया व्यक्त करना कि आपके अंदर और बाहर होने वाले सभी परिस्थितियों का मूल कारण एवं उत्तरदायी आप स्वयं है। उत्तरदायित्व का अर्थ है जीवन को इस सत्य के साथ जीना और प्रतिक्रिया व्यक्त करना कि आपके अंदर और बाहर होने वाले सभी परिस्थितियों का मूल कारण एवं उत्तरदायी आप स्वयं है। थिंकिंग, फीलिंग, एक्टिंग, responding, cognizing from the truth, you are the source of everything. Listen, I am neither talking to you some corporate values and principles, nor talking to you what some rishis have uttered in some Upanishads. I am talking to you directly which I experienced, which you have to experience. I am talking from the context of being responsible for making you responsible. Please be very clear. The person who talks as only one reason of making you responsible, I am responsible to make you experience responsibility as I experienced. Person with eye is responsible to give vision to a blind person. Person with wealth is responsible to guide poor man to wealth. Person with power is responsible to make powerless people to become powerful. Person with energy is responsible to make energyless people with energy. Person with knowledge is responsible to make ignorant people knowledgeable. If you have knowledge, the moment you have knowledge, you become responsible to make ignorant knowledgeable. If you are powerful, you become responsible to make powerless powerful. If you are wealthy, you become responsible to make poor wealthy. Listen, I am not saying distribute your wealth. If we are having 10 poor people and you distribute all your wealth to the 10 poor people, we will have 11 poor people, that's all. With you, we will have 11 poor people. One more poor person. No. I am not asking you to distribute your wealth, but take responsibility of educating them and making them rich. Anything you own, you become responsible to share it. Make it grow. Vedic tradition beautifully says, Annam Bahu Guruvita. Let us create and share. This is the vision statement I have given for all the Annalayas getting started all over the world. All the Satsangis should know I have initiated a project of sharing food all over the world, because sharing food is Vedic culture. We are agriculture society. Vedic tradition is grain-based society, grain-based civilization. So sharing was our lifestyle. That is why no ritual, no festival, no celebration is complete in Indian tradition without sharing food. Annam Bahu Guruvita. When you own, you become responsible to make everyone own. Because I own responsibility. I own the responsibility of making everyone own the responsibility. मैं कोई कारपोरेट सिद्धांत को के बारे में नहीं बात करा है ना हो, ना कि कोई ऋषि मुनि के कहे हुए वाक्य को पुनः के रहा हूं। मैं अपनी स्वयं की अनुभव के साथ इस सत्य के बारे में आपको बता रहा हूं। There are only two types of human beings on the planet Earth who feel responsible for everything, who don't feel responsible for anything. There are only two types of human beings. Listen. People who feel responsible become leaders. People who don't feel responsible continue to be slaves. There are some people don't feel responsible even for their own actions because they forgot their action is going to bring this result. Many times, even when they plan for business, they only plan if it fails, whom they will hold responsible. They don't plan to make it successful. Holding somebody responsible is not going to solve your problem. Plan for success. Don't do, when you plan itself, if you get an idea, if this fails, what to do? Immediately you think, I'll hold him responsible. But you holding him responsible is not going to bring you success. While that thought comes, I'll hold him responsible, cut it. Holding anybody responsible is not going to solve the issue. See to it he is educated to make things successful. Listen. How many of you cognize? Listen. How many of you cognize what I am saying, that when you plan many times in your mind, if you think you can hold somebody responsible, you think you have planned perfectly. Raise your hand. You are wrong. Holding somebody responsible is not going to make the work happen. Listen. Work not done plus valid reason is not equivalent to work done. Work not done plus valid reason is not equivalent to work done. Work done is only equivalent to work done. Anything else is not equivalent to work done. There are some people who work, the only thing they know how to manipulate the boss, that's all. How to answer the boss, how to manipulate the boss, how to stop the boss pushing him, that's all. With that only one thing, they spend their whole life and retire also. Of course, the day they join the work and the day they learn this art of not allowing anybody to make them feel responsible, they are retired. Retirement does not happen. It is not decided based on the day you stop going to the office. It is based on the day you stop taking responsibility. शक्तिशाली व्यक्ति जिम्मेदार है शक्तिहीन लोगों को शक्तिशाली बनाने के लिए धनवान व्यक्ति जिम्मेदार है निर्धन को धनवान स्थिति में लाने के लिए। वैसे ही ज्ञानी का उत्तरदायित्व है अज्ञान लोगों को ज्ञान का मार्ग दिखाना। आप जो भी चीज के मालिक हैं, उस चीज को सबके साथ बांटना आपका उत्तरदायित्व है। You become responsible to make everyone responsible. Listen, there are some category who don't take responsibility even for the actions they do or they are supposed to do, even for their own existence, because the actions they did not visualize the results are going to come this way. They don't take responsibility even for their own actions. Second, there are few people who take responsibility for their action. People who don't take responsibility even for their own action remain as slave forever. People who take responsibility for their action live as human beings, a middle class life, one house, one car, one wife, 2 kids, maybe one affair somewhere. A middle class life, what I call neo-middle class, happening in India. Life lived as mediocre, middle level, is not going to be fulfilling. There is another one class, people who take responsibility even for others' actions. When you take responsibility even for others' actions, others' irresponsibility, you become leader. Even if you are not reason for certain happening, if it is affecting you, only if you take the responsibility you will solve it. I'll tell you from my own experience. All the attack, persecution done on me is done by the group of atheists. I am not responsible for the atheism spreading. 30 years before my birth, it has started spreading in Tamil Nadu. I am not directly reason, but I am going to take the responsibility to eradicate it, because it is affecting my life. Listen, I am not reason for atheism spreading, but because it is affecting my life and my mission, now I am responsible to eradicate it. Only when I take responsibility even for others' action, I'll be able to solve the problem from the root, at the root level. Whatever may be disturbing you and your life's mission, ध्यान से सुनिए, whatever may be disturbing you and your life's mission, even if you are not reason, you are responsible. Listen, being a reason is different, being responsible is different. Many times, even if you are not directly reason, only when you take the responsibility, it is solved. Leaders are created with a DNA of responsibility. Responsibility is the software for leaders' inner space. कार्य का संपन्न ना होना और उसके लिए वैध कारण होना कार्य के संपन्न होने के बराबर नहीं है. धरती पर केवल तो तारे के प्राणी हैं, एक जो हर चीज के लिए स्वयं को जिम्मेदार मानते हैं और दूसरों व लोग जो स्वयं को किसी चीज के लिए भी जिम्मेदारी नहीं मानते हैं. जब आप अपने जीवन के परिस्थितियों के लिए उत्तरदायित्व नहीं लेते हैं, तब आप एक गुलाम बनकर जीते हैं. जब आप स्वयं के परिस्थितियों के लिए उत्तरदायित्व लेते हैं, तब आप एक साधारण मानव की तरह जीते हैं। और जब आप स्वयं के साथ अन्य लोगों की परिस्थितियों बुनते हैं और ईश्वरत्व की स्थिति का अनुभव कर सकते हैं। ध्यान से सुनिए, अन्य लोगों की परिस्थितियों का भी उत्तरदायित्व लेते हैं, तब आप नेता बनते हैं और ईश्वरत्व की स्थिति का अनुभव कर सकते हैं। Again, I wanted to remind you, if an egg is broken from outside, a life is destroyed. It's the end of the life. Life is killed. If an egg is broken from inside, life is happening. A life starts. If the egg is broken from outside, life ends. If the egg is broken from inside, life starts. If your cognition is broken from outside, you shrink, demolish yourself, destroy, fall into depression. It happens if you are irresponsible. If you stand with responsibility, egg breaks from inside, life starts. एक नेता का सृजन केवल जिम्मेदारी के साथ ही होता है. Not only take responsibility for your actions, take responsibility for everything which affects your life, even if it is others' actions. Only when you feel, when you decide you are responsible, you will even look into the direction of solving the problem. Only then you will solve the problem. Till then, you will be just blaming, he is responsible, he is responsible, he is responsible, he is responsible. All right. Blaming each one is responsible is not going to get you successful. Maybe you can manage your boss, saying, he is responsible, he is responsible, he is responsible. Why we don't take responsibility? First step in our life, if you are receiving 10,000 rupees salary from your office, you think, for the 10,000 I am taking already enough responsibility. Why should I take more responsibility when they are paying only 10,000 to me? Don't be foolish. Taking responsibility is first going to help you to live an expanded life. It is not the favor you are doing for your boss. Listen, first thing you need to understand, the 10,000 which is paid is not equivalent to you and your service. Second, you need to understand, by you not taking the responsibility, you are not destroying your boss's possibility, you are destroying your possibility. It is like you destroy your possibility and you think your boss will be suffering. You drink poison, you expect your boss to die. When you don't take responsibility, you destroy your possibility. First, decide you are going to be in your peak possibility by constantly taking responsibility. Taking responsibility is the right mental setup. It is not that you are doing some favor to somebody by taking responsibility. By taking responsibility, you are doing favor to yourself. It is the greatest favor you do to you When you break that pattern, why should I take the responsibility? Your life starts. When you build the pattern, why should I take the responsibility? Your death starts. When you stop taking responsibility, even if you are alive, you are not living. You are waiting to be buried. पुनः सुनिए, अगर अंधा बाहर से टूटता है, वह मृत्यु प्राप्त कर लेता है, और जब वह अंडा अंदर से टूटता है तब वह जीवन को प्राप्त कर लेता है। केवल जब मुर्गी उत्तरदायित्व लेता है तब वह अंडा जीवन का रूप लेता है। केवल उत्तरदायित्व लेने से ही आप आपके मन चाहे वास्तविकता को जीवन के रूप में अनुभव कर सकते हैं। जो कुछ भी आपके जीवन और जीवन के उद्देश्य की सफलता में बाधा डालता है, भले ही आप उसके लिए कारण रूप नहीं है, फिर भी आप स्वयं उसके लिए जिम्मेदार है। Unless you feel you are responsible, you will never look into solving any issue. Cognitive shift, unless the cognitive shift happens in you, I am responsible for everything. Nothing is possible. Listen, let the cognitive shift happen in you. Let you understand, I am responsible for everything. Person who does not feel he is responsible for anything lives as slave. Person who feels responsible for money becomes Vaishya. Person who feels responsible for weapon becomes Kshatriya. Person who feels responsible for knowledge becomes Brahmana. Person who feels responsible for the whole world becomes sannyasi. Sannyasi is not a person who does not feel responsible. He is not outfit of the society. He is the overfit of the society. आपको कोई भी समस्या का समाधान तभी प्राप्त हो सकती है जब आप इस मनोभावना के साथ जिए कि आपके जीवन में हो रहे हर संघर्ष के लिए आप स्वयं उत्तरदायी है। When you feel you are responsible, I tell you, even your body will be ready to be healed, not just mind. When you feel responsible, your mind will be already healed, body will be ready to be healed. Even the society will change its attitude towards you. The people with whom you live, they will change their attitude towards you. Listen. Whole world is a hologramic structure. Universe is a hologramic structure. What is there in the macrocosm is there in the microcosm. If you have seen hologram, what is the largest picture? For example, if there is a 10 meter by 10 meter hologram, if there is a picture, photograph, even if you cut that into 10 millimeter by 10 millimeter, that same picture will be there inside that. That is what I call hologram. That is hologram. The universe functions with the principle of hologram. Means whatever is in the macrocosm, the whole universe, is there just inside your body, microcosm. If you dissect, go into a small atom, The Brahmanda will be there in that Pindanda. Whatever is there in the Pindanda is there in the Brahmanda. Cosmos functions with the principle of hologram. Responsibility is the DNA which awakens the cosmic hologram in you. Macrocosmic hologram in microcosmic body. If you want to experience the macrocosmic hologram in the microcosm, awaken responsibility. When you feel responsible, your whole life changes. पूरा ब्रह्मांड एक होलोग्राम छाया है. आप उस छाया की कोई भी भाग को निकाल कर देखे तो आप देखेंगे कि वह भाग उस पूर्ण छाये की प्रतिबिंब है. Macrocosm and microcosm is just mirroring each other's possibility. इसी तरह आप भी पूरे ब्रह्मांड की एक अनोखा छाया है. केवल जिम्मेदारी से ही आपको यह अनुभव होगा. When you feel the responsibility for existence, you become existence, and existence feels responsible for you. केवल जिम्मेदारी लेने से ही आपको यह अनुभव होगा कि आप पूरे ब्रह्मांड का एक प्रतिबिंब है. तभी लिसन, ध्यान से सुनिए, तभी आपको यह अनुभव होगा कि आप पूरे ब्रह्मांड के लिए उत्तरदायी है और पूरा ब्रह्मांड आपके लिए उत्तरदायी है. पहले याद कीजिए कि आप अपनी क्षमता की चरम सीमा पर रहेंगे. जिम्मेदारी लेने से आप स्वयं पर सबसे बड़ा एहसान करते हैं. जब आप जिम्मेदारी ना लेने की मनोवृत्ति को तोड़ देते हैं, आपका जीवन आरंभ होता है. जब आप यह मनोवृत्ति को बनाते हैं, आपकी मृत्यु आरंभ होती है. जब तक आप स्वयं को जिम्मेदार होने का अनुभव नहीं करेंगे, आप कभी भी कोई भी मसले को सुलझाने के लिए प्रयत्न नहीं करेंगे. मसले को सुलझाने के लिए प्रयत्न नहीं करेंगे. केवल जिम्मेदारी लेने से ही आपको यह अनुभव होगा कि आप पूरे ब्रह्मांड का एक प्रतिबिंब है. तभी आपको यह अनुभव होगा कि आप पूरे ब्रह्मांड के लिए उत्तरदायी है और पूरा ब्रह्मांड आपके लिए उत्तरदायी है. If you feel you are poor, take responsibility to it. If you feel you are sick, take responsibility to it. If you feel you are not having right relationship in the life, take responsibility for it. If you feel you are not in the right space, take responsibility for it. If you feel you are not in the right place, take responsibility for it. Take responsibility for everything continuously. केवल जिम्मेदारी लेने से ही आपको यह अनुभव होगा कि आप पूरे ब्रह्मांड का एक प्रतिबिंब है. तभी आपको यह अनुभव होगा कि आप पूरे ब्रह्मांड के लिए उत्तरदायी है और पूरा ब्रह्मांड आपके लिए उत्तरदायी है. I have seen some people shivering in front of responsibility. Responsibility is not death which has come to take away your life. is Yama to come to make you enlightened. Be authentic like Nachiketa. Death will be Yama to make you enlightened. Constantly feeling, go on feeling responsible, 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 responsible. Go on feeling responsible, responsible, responsible for everything. When you feel responsible, your inner space will find solution for it. Find solution for it. When you feel responsible, your inner space will find responsible for it. अगर आपको लगता है कि आप सही जगह या स्थिति में नहीं है, तो उस जगह को परिवर्तित करने के लिए आप उत्तरदायित्व लीजिए। तब आप यह देखेंगे कि आपके सामने कोई भी संघर्ष या समस्या ज्यादा समय तक जीवित रख नहीं पाएगा। Responsibility makes your ordinary desire to the ultimate space of desirelessness as reality in your life. Your ordinary desire to have a good meal tomorrow, to your desire to be in desireless space of enlightenment forever. Everything becomes reality, is realized when you take responsibility. Responsibility is not cognitive shift. Daya, sit up. It is just new cognition itself. With responsibility, the new life, new possibility happens to you. New being happens to you. With everything, you become new person. So naturally, everything responds to you as new person. Responsibility is a universal value. As an individual, for you to flourish in your life, or as a family, to be a stable family, or as a team, to deliver what you have to deliver, or as a community, to be supporting each other in every level. Responsibility. I tell you, when you serve teaching responsibility, you become leader. I have seen many people serve their whole life but never become leader. लगातार स्वयं को जिम्मेदार 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 महसूस कीजिए। जब आप स्वयं को जिम्मेदार अनुभव करते हैं, आपका अंतर आकाश समाधान खोज लेता है। आपका अंतर आकाश इसके लिए जिम्मेदार हो जाता है। I started feeling responsible at the age of 11. There was a religious riot in Tiruvannamalai much before my birth. One day, one cricket match was happening. Of course, when I was 11-year-old boy, those days radio was very popular. So in one match, I was never interested in the cricket from the beginning. In one cricket match, India lost, Pakistan won. One of my classmates, Muslim boy, he was jumping and enjoying, celebrating it. So my maths teacher told that boy, hey, India is your country. You should not celebrate the laws of India. But that boy was telling, no, my people taught me Pakistan is our country. So he was celebrating. I was seeing this conversation, I could not understand. As an 11-year-old boy, I do not know what is Pakistan, what is India first of all. And what is cricket also I do not know. But this maths teacher is kind of a close friend to me. I asked him, what is happening? Why are you telling that boy what you are telling? He was my friend. We used to play together. In those days, the Indian villages never had this problem of different religion and all that. It was like a one family, one society. So I was asking the teacher why you are telling what you are telling. Then the teacher explained to me that this is India, that is Pakistan, and our country lost in the cricket, and he should not be celebrating for it, but he is celebrating because enemy country won. I was only bothered about only one thing. I asked him immediately, if our country lost means, will they take away our temple? That's all is the first thing I asked. He said, no. It is only cricket match. We will not lose Arunachaleshwara temple because that was my life. I did not bother about what is India, what is Pakistan, what is cricket. I only know one thing in my life, very important, is that Arunachaleshwara temple, where whole day I play and where I live. Will they take away our temple? That's all I asked. He said, no, don't worry, the temple will not be taken away. The temple will be continue to be with us. Then I was not interested in anything. I left it. Then I said, all right, then I don't care, you go. And I went away. After a few days, in some other situation, he was explaining that to few of us who go to his house for tuition and all that. So he was explaining. That time he said, there was a riot in our place long before. Two religious people attacked each other and killed each other. It was a Ganesh Chaturthi festival. Then, first time, I was budding in responsibility. I asked him, what can we do that this should never happen again? He said, we should organize programs, festivals, functions, and we should invite them and we should go to their function. I said, yes, I'll do. And first time in my life, I organized one Ganesh Chaturthi and called some of my Muslim friends and celebrated. And then I went to the local mosque. After they finish their chanting, they will come and blow through the mouth and bless the visitors. In villages still it is there. Once they finish their Quran chanting, they will come out and blow the air by chanting Quran. So I went to attend that ritual. I tell you, after I decided to take the responsibility, even idea about me changed for myself. What I was feeling about me to me itself has changed. I was a different person. I tell you, this incident, I'll say, as more important for my happening than my spending time with Arunagiri Yogeshwara. Listen the statement I am making. I'll say this incident is more responsible for my happening. Because Arunagiri Ishwara, anyhow it would have happened. To realize who I am is not a big thing. But to take the responsibility for who I am is the real thing. Realizing who I am is not the real thing. Taking responsibility for who I am is the real thing. उत्तरदायित्व आपकी साधारण वास्तविकता जैसी कोई मन चाह खाने को प्राप्त करना, उस स्थिति से लेकर आपकी सर्वश्रेष्ठ वास्तविकता जो हर इच्छा से परे रहने का स्थिति है, उस स्थिति में आपको परिवर्तित करता है. My experience with Arunagiri Yogeshwara was only the realization of who I am. But this incident is taking responsibility for who I am. That was the first function I organized. I went around and collected money from all my pre-monastic family, friends. Even in the street, went and called the local VIPs as a guest. The temple EVO, officers, an organized pandal, garlands, decoration items. I myself decorated with a few disciples, and all the music instruments, aarti vessels. I think almost all department I started that day. Publication department, spreading department, temple, sacred arts, almost all departments I started at the age of 11. What we are doing as Sangha now, I started doing at the age of 11. I tell you, from that time, I was just continuously expanding. Life was just expanding. Nothing but expanding. केवल उत्तरदायित्व ही आपको आपके उच्चतम क्षमता में स्थापित करता है. केवल उत्तरदायित्व ही आपके जीवन को लगातार विस्तारित करता है. If you are a housewife, take responsibility of that. If you are working, take responsibility for that. If you are a father, take responsibility for that. If you are a student, take responsibility for that. If you are a son, take responsibility for that. Whatever dimensions you have in your life, take responsibility for everything. जब आप जिम्मेदारी लेने का फैसला करते हैं, स्वयं के बारे में आपकी धारणा बदल जाती है. केवल उत्तरदायित्व ही आपको आपके उच्चतम क्षमता में स्थापित करता है. केवल उत्तरदायित्व ही आपके जीवन को लगातार विस्तारित करता है. इसीलिए आपके अंदर एवं बाहर होने वाले हर चीज के लिए उत्तरदायित्व लीजिए. अगर आप एक पिता है तब उसके लिए उत्तरदायित्व लीजिए. अगर आप एक पत्नी है तब उसके लिए उत्तरदायित्व लीजिए. हर चीज के लिए लगातार उत्तरदायित्व लीजिए. जब आप जिम्मेदारी लेने का निर्णय करते हैं, स्वयं के बारे में आपकी धारणा परिवर्तित हो जाती है. आपकी धारणा परिवर्तित हो जाती है. unless you experience the ultimate, you experience the reality, your life is not going to end. You are not going to feel the fulfillment. You are not going to experience completion. Ultimate will happen only when you take responsibility. Only when you become responsible. Only when you become responsible, the ultimate happens. Let you know very clearly. Unless you take responsibility, nothing in your life will be solved. When you take responsibility, everything in your life will start happening as you want. You will create the reality of your choice. केवल जब उत्तरदायित्व के साथ आप अपनी उच्चतम स्थिति में रहकर जीते हैं, तभी आप अपने का असली वास्तविकता से आपकी परिचय होते हैं। अपने जीवन का असली वास्तविकता से आपकी परिचय होते हैं। ध्यान से सुनिए। केवल जब उत्तरदायित्व के साथ आप अपनी उच्चतम स्थिति में रहकर जीते हैं, तभी आप अपने जीवन का असली वास्तविकता से आपकी परिचय होती है। It is responsibility which makes you experience you are a being. Only responsibility makes you experience your possibility. Responsibility makes you experience everything you want in your life. Responsibility makes you experience the choice of your reality. आज की सत्संग का सारांश है, the essence of today's satsang. Responsibility only can make you experience your choice of reality. Responsibility makes you experience the highest possibility. Responsibility makes you experience highest reality. केवल उत्तरदायित्व से ही आप अपने उच्चतम क्षमता में जी सकते हैं और अपनी इच्छा अनुसार वास्तविकता का सृजन एवं अनुभव कर सकते हैं। इसलिए लगातार अपने अंदर एवं बाहर होने वाले हर चीज के लिए उत्तरदायित्व लीजिए।
जीवन मुक्तिप्रदं देवं क्षमापूर्णं जगद्गुरुं वन्दे परमहंसाख्यं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम्। आनन्दानुभवास्वादं सर्वरोगनिवारकं वन्दे पापविनाशक्तं नित्यानन्दाय स्वागतम्। आनन्दानुभवास्वादं सर्वरोगनिवारकं वन्दे पापविनाशक्तं